Hi, I'm Susan Nixon with So Quick and Easy, and today we're going to talk about the very basics for how to use a serger. So I want to start by telling you a little bit about what a serger does. You'll notice there are 4 cones of thread, which is a little bit more thread than we use on our sewing machine, but the advantage to using a serger is that it sews, cuts, and finishes the seam all in one step. So here's an example right here of an edge that's been serged, and what that does, it wraps the threads around to the back side so nothing falls apart when it's put through the washer and dryer. Normally when you sew a seam and you wash and dry it, eventually you're going to get the little fray pieces and the fabric starts falling apart. So a serger takes care of that problem for you. So the easiest way to line up your fabric to take it through the serger is to make a mark where your left needle thread is. If we sew a line first, we'll line it up here because that lines up with the needle. The other place that you might want to serge is just the edge of the fabric. The blue dot is going to be really important because that lines up with the blade of the serger. It's actually going to cut your fabric. Anything that goes to the right will be cut off. Here I have a seam that I've already sewn, and you notice I wasn't absolutely perfect on the edge, which is fine. That's my favorite part about a serger. Now I'm going to line up my sewing line with my red dot. So to serge, there is no reverse. Here's my red dot. I'm just going to lift up the front part of that foot and set it back down. So I want to steer with my thumb on top and run it right along the red dot. And you can see how this blade is cutting off the extra seam allowance. At the edge of the seam, there's no reverse, so serge off, and then you're going to take a pair of scissors and cut in the center of that, leaving some thread on the fabric and some thread attached to your machine. Now let's look and see what we just did. I followed my sewing line. Look, my edges are just perfect. So now you can see the best part of a serger. After you've sewn your seam and run it through, there are 2 threads that are your needle threads, the green and the blue, that run along the edge that creates a stronger seam, and the pink and yellow are your looper threads, and those wrap around the edge of the fabric so that it never comes unraveled when you wash it and dry it. It makes it look just like you bought it in a store. Let's say you're working on a project and you just want to finish off the edge without sewing it together, for example when you're putting a zipper in. So we have 1 layer. We're going to lift up the foot and line it up with the turquoise dot or right along the edge of the base of the serger. So I'm going to keep my fabric right on my mark, and you'll notice I'm not cutting anything off, and off the back. And now you can see I've just finished off 1 layer of fabric.